Fuck yes, ladies and gentlemen, the time has come. We're finally talking about fucking Venom Prison, one of my most anticipated albums of the year. Let's fucking do this. Are you pumped, Anna?
Yeah.
You fucking better be pumped. A little louder.
Yeah.
Yeah! Fuck yeah! Get pumped. You too. For the same reasons I just talked about, obviously. Erebos is the third studio album from English death metal band Venom Prison, who I have been following very closely over the course of the past few years. I fell in love with their sophomore studio album Samsara when it dropped back in 2019. I really enjoyed the compilation album they put out about a year and a half ago. Can't remember exactly when, but I remember really fucking loving it, and I've been extremely fucking pumped for Erebos. It's one of my most anticipated albums of 2022. I've been jamming an advanced copy of it, courtesy of Looters PR and Century Media Records, for the past few weeks now. And I am happy to report that not only does Erebos meet all of my expectations, it exceeds them in ways I did not anticipate or imagine. Put very simply, ladies and gentlemen, even though we're still only barely a month into 2022, we may have already found a genuine Album of the Year contender. Erebos is in every single aspect a massive improvement on what Samsara already did very fucking well. The production, the sound mix is so fucking tight I could bounce fucking quarters off of it. The riffs are crunchy, crispy, heavy as holy fucking hell. There are tons of great twin guitar harmonies and passionate solos. Larissa's vocals are next fucking level as per the norm, once again proving that she is probably the best, or at the very least one of the best modern death metal singers out there right now. The percussion cracks like thunder, the bass guitar rumbles in your gut as if it's given you food poisoning, and it all makes for one fucking hell of a death metal adventure. Tracks like Judges of the Underworld and Nemesis fling riffs at you so fucking fast that it's honestly kind of hard to keep up. It truly is a Las Vegas-style all-you-can-eat buffet of death metal carnage and fun. The former track, Judges of the Underworld, for instance, throws a surprisingly very anthemic chorus at you, emboldened by some gnarly groove-laden passages and a devastating breakdown near the very end. Meanwhile, the latter track, Nemesis, rocks some of the dirtiest, slimiest fucking grooves and riff barrages on the entire record, and surprisingly still has time to transform at a certain point into like a melodic death metal arch-enemy style banger, complete with soaring guitars and some of the tastiest fucking guitar harmonies on the record. But the real beauty of Erebos lies not in how sonically brutal it is, but rather in how lyrically, conceptually, and emotionally brutal it is. Venom Prison have always worn their heart on their sleeve, never once shying away from more sensitive or controversial subject matter. Not only is Erebos not an exception to this rule, but it is quite possibly the most dark and unapologetic thing that the band have ever written. Tracks like Castigated in Steel and the aforementioned Judges of the Underworld, for instance, deals with the consequences of a corrupt criminal justice system. Another track, Comfort of Complicity, deals not just with how immigration and refugee policies have torn families apart, but also with how so many people, millions of people, just stand at the side and watch it happen. Maybe they don't actively or openly support it, but they're also not doing anything to stop it. There are some tracks that are a little bit more high concept and a little bit more elaborate. Take, for instance, Golden Apple of Hesperides, which mixes classic symbolism with a somewhat subtle theme revolving around social media manipulation. But for every track like that, there's also something like Technologies of Death, which is so disturbingly blunt and straight to the point that I don't think I need to explain what it's about. If you are curious as to what it's about after having heard of it, you simply didn't pay attention. And thankfully, even when Venom Prison is at their most politically charged, at their most conceptually heavy and grandiose, they never really lose sight of the death metal. The record remains ultimately thrilling. Technologies of Death, for instance, is quite possibly the most evil album closer I think I've heard in a while. Just ever so slightly beyond the halfway point of this song, there is a massive display of almost symphonic black metal fury, directly incorporating the Devil's Tritone and then launching into some blistering, incredibly passionate melodic death metal guitar work. It makes not just for an incredible album closer, but one of the best songs on the record. Not the best, though. That award goes to a track by the name of Pain of Osiris. It's a much more moody and introspective cut in comparison to everything else, straying from, the criminal justice system and immigration and capital punishment, and instead focusing on Larissa and her issues with mental health and PTSD. It starts off on a very somber note with these very quiet, somewhat raspy and soft-spoken clean vocals amongst some pretty straightforward kind of alt-rock guitar patterns. There's a very passionate guitar solo that feels more befitting of like a classic rock record. There's a lot of keyboard work that provides a lot of light, a lot of color. It practically sparkles and dazzles on the forefront of the sound, stealing the show every single opportunity it gets. It makes for a very cathartic number, the best song on the album, maybe the best song Venom Prison have ever written and recorded. It truly is a masterpiece of a song, in my opinion at least. Honestly, though, there's not a single dud on this entire album. Every track is a certified fucking banger. I love every single bit of it. I love the genty, kind of progressive death metal flavors and flourishes of Golden Apple. I love the absolute balls-to-the-wall extremity of Veil of Night. I love Comfort of Complicity near the very end of it. It's got this section that feels weirdly reminiscent of, like, Sunbather-era Death Heaven, but combined with, like, Carcass or Arch Enemy-style melodic death metal. It's just fucking incredible. How many more times do I need to say it? How many more times do I need to explain to you that this record is fucking incredible? I don't feel like doing that. I don't feel like repeating myself, and I also don't feel like spoiling this record, because there's so much. There's so many twists and turns, so many amazing lyrics and riffs and guitar solos. So fuck it, let's start wrapping it up. 4.5 out of 5. What an incredible record. Definitely expect to see this in my top 10 at the end of the year. I fucking love this album. I am so happy I pre-ordered it. I'm so happy I've been able to jam it for as long as I have before its official release. Thank you to Looters PR, Century Media, and Venom Prison for that. Thank you! If you love Venom Prison, I don't see any reason whatsoever why you would not also love this album. It's just fucking remarkable. If you're turned off by some of the things I've been talking about, some of the concepts, the lyrics, and the themes, if you're sitting here thinking, I don't know, man, sounds a little bit too artsy-fartsy for my liking. I'm not really a fan of politics on my music. I just want to enjoy some fucking death metal. Don't worry, you can just turn your brain off and just enjoy it as death metal. Like, I promise you, I was not thinking about capital punishment and social media manipulation and PTSD when I was listening to this album while working out. Like, I was on that fucking workout bike thing, push-ups, sit-ups, lifting fucking weights, you name it. This album was blaring, and I felt fucking amazing. Context was absolutely not needed there, nor will it be needed when Venom Prison plays all of this shit live and you can throw a beer in the air and punch the nearest motherfucker. Erebos has truly exceeded all of my expectations, and I have no doubt it will exceed all of yours. 4.5 out of 5, an incredible record. Fucking cheers, Venom Prison. You earned it. Please come to Toronto. I need to hear this shit live. Please and thank you. And that is it for the Metal Meltdown. I'm not an expert, nor do I claim to be, so what do you think? Do you like this record? Do you not like this record? And what do you want to hear from me next? And thank you for watching. Make sure you press subscribe so you get updates on the Metal Meltdown immediately, in case you somehow aren't already. And as always, you have yourself a fantastic fucking day.